Welcome back to the JSFL. We're here in week 4 after week 3 has commenced. And it was a pretty good week of week 3, and I'm hoping this week 4 matchups I'm looking at, they look pretty promising. But let's get into how week 3 went. On Thursday Night Football, we had the Kansas City Wind at the New York Businessmen, and that was a 24-10 game where the Wind won. And pretty good outing by Willie Rogers. 3 touchdowns, a hat trick for Rogers. New York could not find an answer on the ground for him. And with the Wind just dominated. Then, at the 1 p.m. game, we had the Pirates and Predators, the battle of the winless teams. And the Predators, the new team, got their first career win on Sunday. As they beat the Pirates now go to 0-3, the Predators 1-2. Oh yeah, the Wind are 3-0, and the Businessmen are 1-2. Then you had the Power at Musicians. That was a high-scoring game. Except Skies against Sean Richardson. But in the end, Skies won with an overtime touchdown. The Power couldn't get it done in the red zone. They kicked the field goal, and Skies and his crew on the offense got it done with the TD to rookie tight end. Who's the rookie? It's the backup tight end for them. But I forgot what his name was. Warren Bishop out of North, I believe. He might be out of somewhere else, but I believe it's North. So, yeah. Then that was the week. Then that was the 1 p.m. game. 4:15, yeah, then Forsters at the Gila Monsters. We saw that last time, week 11, where the Enforcers won. The Enforcers lost, and same thing happens here. The Gila Monsters are going to win. Brian Tepps goes to 2-1 with the Gila Monsters. Not looking the best so far this season again, but it's time to pick it up. Jones and this offense not as electric as we thought they were, but they're still okay, and they still should be able to do some havoc. Earthquake at the Natives for 4:15. It was rainy in LA, but that did not stop the Natives. They take on the undefeated number 1 ranked Earthquake. And what a show that was to watch. The Natives picking up some real momentum, 2-game win streak after losing their first home game. But, oh no, it was in Seattle that the game was. It was raining. But they get their first home game of the season. And, yeah, good job for Seattle. Then the Bats at Fishers on Monday night, prime time. Wow, what a game pickup for Joey Adams. Had 200 yards on the ground. Minneapolis did not see that coming. They couldn't get themselves going, and the Bats took advantage. That's really what the deciding factor of this game was. Then, that was the Week 3 matchups. So let's go to the power rankings. We got in 12th place in relocation status, the Cleveland Pirates at 0-3. They're only team without a win. Outlook on this team. Hastings, not the guy. 2 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He has the most attempts in the league, but not even close to most completions for the league. Been inaccurate. Has decent pieces around him. He's got talent. Bowden, talent's the receiver. But he also does have talent. Mario Bowen, Frank Jog, great running back. He's in the MVP conversation, as we'll get to that later. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with Hastings. They thought it would be good for him here as they had threats like Mario Bowen, and they drafted Josh Bowden. But I don't know what Hastings is doing. Josh Bowden, teammate of his, so. But they've actually had a decent connection. I think he's had the most receptions out of any of the receivers. I'll check up on that. Yeah, no, he's had 2 less than Mario Bowen, but he's had second most on the team. Second most yards, too. Hasn't had a touchdown yet, but only 1 receiver of theirs has a touchdown, then the tight end, Sean Larson. Then, let's go to 11th. I had to put the Atlanta Predators here. Their 1 win is against the Cleveland Pirates. They have looked okay. They went down to wire with Kansas City. Then they did pretty good against Cleveland. Hudson looking like a pretty good actual number 1 pick. I don't know if I'd put him number 1 if I had to redraft this class. But, yeah, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 50-plus rush yards in the game, 1 rushing touchdown, good pass for completion, good yards. Hudson is doing it great with not that great of cast. He has Ron Ford and Colin Franklin, but they really don't have that third guy like a lot of these teams have. Running back situation isn't great. Their starting running back has the worst yards in the league with 143 after 51 attempts. But we'll see if Rocker can develop. But the defense is doing pretty good, as we expected. And we'll see if that continues. And then 10th, I had to put the New York Businessmen here. They played okay, but they had a lot of missed opportunities against this not so great Kansas City defense where they played. Gurnett's still not looking like the guy. His stats, not that many attempts, because I think he has one of the lowest attempts in the league. Not many yards, 370, 1 touchdown to 3 picks, 1 rushing touchdown. They even put Carl Carroll's in the game, and he didn't even look good. Had its interception, only off 2 passes. Eugene Green still looking good. He could be an MVP candidate. 56 attempts off 294 yards, 3 touchdowns, 14 broken tackles. Even doing it in the pass game, 50-plus receiving yards in a game and a receiving touchdown. Austin Myers looking okay, 5 for 43. But these receivers aren't doing too much because Gurnett's not getting them the ball. Then I had to put number 9 as the Minneapolis Fishers. They fell down 5 spots for me. And that's because 2 straight losses. I don't know if that Seattle game was a fluke. I didn't think it was. I thought Minneapolis was serious this year. But they lost to, who did they lose to? The Bats, who I had worst in the league last week. And, yeah. Dackerson, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's looked okay. 566 yards, 57 for 86. I mean, Dackerson, he's not the real reason why this team, well, he's the reason why the team lost last week. But he hasn't been bad this season overall-wise. I don't like how his interceptions and touchdowns are at the most. I think he should be getting a little more touchdowns than he has. The thing is, this team can't really score points. Hoskins is doing everything he can. He's done pretty good. Maybe not the most touchdown person guy, but he's been doing good. He's got the ball to Wilbur Lambert. Sanchez with the receptions, but not the yards you want for him. Gibson, he got injured. Sadly, he will be gone until week 6. So, Ivan Isten, he stepped in. He had 3 catches for 29 yards. Hopefully, he does good in the slot because they're probably going to put him there, I believe. Lawrence Freeman, they were going to put him out for Randall Hilton, but he had 2 interceptions. He kept them in the game twice, but Dackerson just couldn't step up to the plate, which happened in college too. What game was it? I believe it was the East game. I could be wrong on this, but Dackerson had chances, but he couldn't make it through sometimes. Or it kind of looked like just if Charlotte had a way better offense like the South game to North last year where they just dominated. But the score didn't show that. But the score didn't show how well Charlotte did against this Minneapolis team. They did great. But Randall Hilton is going free safety starting next week over Mark Carr. They haven't looked like how Mark Carr has been this season. Hasn't made plays, 5 solo tackles, 7 assists. Everyone else has at least got some kind of tackle for a loss, sack, interception. Not Mark Carr. Mark Carr and Dean McGuire, the only two people that don't have one of those things. So, yeah, they put in Randall Hilton, as he already has 2 tackles for a loss. He's been a guy they put in the slot a little bit, but now he's starting free safety. We'll see how he does. Then, number 8, jumping up from worst to my number 8. I mean, they looked pretty impressive on Monday night. It's the Charlotte Bats. They're 1-2. Phillips is not the reason they're here at all. He has 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions. He was not the best man on the board. I think they could have taken Kyle Shooter, even though Phillips doesn't have the best surrounding offense. He has a pretty good one. Shooter has a really good offense, but he's made stuff of it. These two have a pretty good offenses. I mean, Shooter's is a little better, but I don't think if you put Shooter in Charlotte, he would do this bad. I don't know if Phillips doesn't like the coach. He doesn't have good completion rating. Not the best yards. Adams, he's looked pretty good, 314, as most of those came from last night, or Monday night. 2 touchdowns, 4 broken tackles. I mean, broken tackles could be a lot better. Jackson, he's found him a lot, 13 catches, 138 yards. His best receiver by far. Ben Robbins, the rookie left tackle, he's not been doing it for Charlotte. We'll see if he can do better as these weeks come on. But 6 given sacks in the first 3 games, it's not been looking good for Ben Robbins. We'll see if they maybe switch some offensive line changes. The defense, they were solid on Monday night. William Fats, he was pretty good covering. Lamb, Henry Virgin did good. Just the defense stepped up when it needed to, especially in the run game. I mean, well, just defensively wise. 7th, we got to go now to our last two 1 and 2 teams, and I'm gonna put Houston here. I thought they were legit week 1. They were looking good. The stats for the offense and defense still aren't looking that bad for Houston, but their gameplay, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's all there. They put in a lot of new parts this year. They got Jones, Evans, Nestor Hood, and I don't think this offense is clicking the way we want to. The defense is doing great. Pitch has been pretty efficient as the second best left or defensive end in the league. Obviously, he isn't going to be Roland Levis, but he's pretty good. The defense, just great. But this offense has not stepped up to the way people thought in the offseason. Norris and Evans, they have got it okay. Norris has 122 yards, Evans 74. Morgan, they don't even put in the starting lineup anymore for power running back. They put that to Evans. So he wasn't what they expected. But the run game hasn't worked out too well. Even Jones, he has not played to par. They thought if they put him in a better system, he might do better. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has over 50-plus rush yards in a game, but he's not in MVP talk at all, really. So Jones has just been okay. Hood hasn't done as well he was in college. He hasn't converted really yet. The receivers, no one's over 100 yards yet, besides the tight end. Tight end rookie Danny Edwards, 17 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown. He's been the number 1 guy, and Edwards really has put a spark into this offense, or is trying to. But yeah, I just had to put them there. Number 6, the best 1 and 2 team, in my opinion, has to be Detroit. They put up such a fight in New Orleans. Coming so close to winning that game, but New Orleans sucks, guys. It's hard. They're 0-3 against the New Orleans Musicians. That rivalry is great, but it always seems to come out New Orleans in the end. Just a great matchup. Richardson, he is okay. I wouldn't put him in the MVP talk yet, but he could definitely get up there, as he was runner-up in MVP for last season. He has 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a rushing touchdown. Completion stats, they could be better. I'm not going to lie. Richardson hasn't had the best completion stats. 6-18 yards. He's average. I mean, he hasn't really come on, but last week was pretty good. If he can keep that kind of momentum, I could see him in finishing jobs. Like, that's got to be big for Richardson this year. If he can finish the job, because I know he couldn't do that last year. He could definitely talk. Little, what a game for him. 11 broken tackles on that game. He's 22. He leads the league. And he's in MVP talk now again, too. He got MVP. Can he get back-to-back? Oh, jeez. 391 yards. He's second in the league in yards. 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good. 68 attempts. They use him a lot, the workhorse. Receiving-wise, Requise Hernandez, Allen Simmons, and Hugh Brooks are over 100 yards, so no problem with the receivers. Hector McDaniel, 90 yards for 13 catches. He hasn't been as good as Otis Stelle was, but that doesn't really matter when they have these good receivers stepping up. Allen Simmons really stepped up last week. Hugh Brooks, he's still doing the thing. He leads the team in receptions with 10, or besides tight end Hector McDaniel, he has 13. Angel Parks, again, not doing too good for him. I wonder if they're going to switch him to inside, but we'll have to see for that. Defensively wise, they need to step it up a little bit. This linebacking core hasn't been as good as we thought it would be. They've been, it hasn't been the best. This D-line needs to step up, mostly rookies, but these parts need to click, kind of like Houston's offense. We thought this defense would be great, and they really haven't been. So if this team wants to start winning games, they're going to need to start playing well on defensively. All right. Then you got for number 5, go to 2-1 teams. I'm going to put Phoenix here. You know, they've shown okayness. They've shown flashes of last year. They've shown not so flashes. But it's Teps for me that's putting them down here. 3 touchdowns, 4 picks, 1 rushing touchdown. I believe he actually has the lowest number of attempts in the league, lowest number of yards, 350. Jokes, he's in MVP talk. Not quite up with the rest, but he's definitely capable of getting in there. 61 attempts, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 broken tackles. Been pretty good. Whoop, the second-year receiver, not over 100 yards, 6 catches, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, though. None of their guys, besides the tight end Chet Wood, 9 catches, 104 yards, or over 100 yards. Offensive line, Marcus Johns, the veteran, he's been okay, but he has gave up 1 sack a game. Offensive line, besides, that's pretty good. Defense, they've been playing pretty well. Jordan Jackson, he's been kind of balling out. 22 solo tackles, 9 assists, 5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. He's been okay. Julio Odom, he's really stepped up. A forced fumble, 3 tackles for loss, 17 tackles, 5 assists. Pretty good. Byron Baxter, looking like his former self. 2 forced fumbles. He didn't have a single one last year, but he is the turnover machine. Had 7 last season. He got defensive back of the year. We'll see if he can get that again. And he's on his way to. He's doing really good. And now we got 4th seed. It's going to have to go to L.A. You know, it was L.A. against Seattle, and you know who's going to come up next. But L.A. couldn't get it done. Terry Foster, he's looking really good so far. The completions isn't my favorite thing about him, but the yards, 798. 8 touchdowns, which I don't even think he had. I think that was like the numbers of receptions he had at college. He was not good with the ball. But LA took a chance on him, and boy, did it turn out. 4 interceptions. He needs to work on that a little bit. He has been a little reckless with the ball, which kind of like was he in college. But LA knew that when drafting him. We'll see if he can do it. He is an MVP talk too, or Rookie of the Year talk, definitely. Him and Kyle Shooter got to be the top runners. Ross Williams, 58 attempts, 384 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 broken tackles. Definitely in the MVP talk too. 2 receiving touchdowns. Let's look at the receivers. Walker over 100 yards. Alvin Moore way past 100 yards, over 200 yards with 247 and 2 touchdowns. He's been Foster's favorite target by far. I said that on Monday night when they were starting to get hooked together. Like, this team is going to be good if Alvin Moore and Terry Foster can find each other. Patrick Patterson, 10 receptions, 120 yards. And Salvador Jacobs, really good season so far too. 17 catches, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. He leads their team in every statistic on receiving. Offensive line, Corey Shader showed a little bit of problems too, giving up sacks, but nothing too bad for where he was drafted. Defense, they expected a lot out of Shader, and I don't know, watching him college, if that's what I would do. Defensively, they're still pretty solid. They did give up a lot to Seattle, but they're still pretty solid on the charts. Third, you know, I got to go with Seattle, 2-1, best 2-1 team in my opinion. They just came off a 2-win streak against 2 pretty good teams. Former JSFL Championships Phoenix 2 weeks ago, and this week the undefeated team of this year, or used to be, LA Earthquake. Kermit Poe looked electric, 59 for 75. Pretty good completion settings. 68.9 yards, 689 yards. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And you look at this like, oh, he looks kind of like Sean Richardson, or looks kind of like Trent Hudson. But look at this rushing stat. 50-plus rush yards in a game and 5 rushing touchdowns on the ground. And this definitely puts them top running for MVP conversation. Right now, if the season were 10, he has my vote for sure. We'll see if he can keep that win streak. That would be a lot how he does for MVP conversation. Colton Yu, 69, 313, 11 broken tackles, 1 receiving touchdown. He's been pretty good. Definitely not how he was last year, being 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th in the MVP talk. He was doing good last year, not so much this year. Receiving-wise, Morgan bounced back after that injury, then suspension. 12 catches, 173 yards, and a touchdown. Leads the team in receiving besides the tight end, Joe Romero. 18 catches, 207 yards. Dallas Crawford, 97 yards. Williams, 93 yards. Williams with 2 touchdowns. Leads the team in touchdowns. Offensive line, Ernie Docks, Jordan Penna, and Boyce Ainsworth have given 1 sack each. But nothing bad says that. Offensive line really held their ground so far. Defensively, gosh, this team has been a unit. My bad. This team has been a unit when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. I think they actually went up to number 1. We'll talk about that in a bit, but they have been flying to the ball. These corners, I talked about them last week, but the corners just ceased to amaze me. Which is Kendall Carls and Trevor Wedden. I think Trevor Wedden was complete steal in the draft. went way under radar by every team, and Seattle just picked him up for pretty much cost them nothing. But great by Seattle. And in second place, you got to put the 3-0 Kansas City Wind. They've held their own. Their final first win over a score of 7 against this New York team. Kyle Shooter definitely in top running or second place running for Rookie of the Year. Maybe in talk for MVP. 65 for 89, pretty good. 950 yards, best in the league. 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's looking pretty good. Willie Rogers, 61 attempts, 455 yards, leads the league. Leads the league in touchdown with 6. Broken tackles not the most with 13, but Willie Rogers definitely could be an MVP candidate as well. He might actually lead. I don't know if he's first or second. Wide receivers, Eric Fitzgerald, 13, 189. He's done pretty good. No touchdowns, though. Tracy Davis, 10 for 226. He leads the wide receivers in yards in the Wind. Wagner, he's done his fair share, too. 6 catches for 107 yards. Then 0 touchdowns for him. Kurt Hammond, 18 catches, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only had a 26-yard reception that came in the fourth quarter, but he did still pretty good. Andrew Webb, 532 for a touchdown. Offensive line, Brandon Optic hasn't done as good as he did in college, but he's given 2 sacks, so he's okay. Wind, this defense, they did play pretty good against Henry Gurnett, but it's Henry Gurnett. They're going to have to step up greatly if they want to continue to win games. Because eventually this offense is going to stall out. Teams are going to figure out what Kyle Shooter's doing, and you're going to be struggling when you play like a top-tier team. Because, again, well, what have they played? They played the Pirates, the Predators, and the Businessmen. Let's see what those teams are ranked right now. Those teams are ranked 12th, 11th, and 10th. The worst 3 teams in the league they've played. And I'm just going to spoil it right now who they play. I don't know if they play a good team or not. They play... Oh, that's going to be a good one. The Enforcers. So, the Enforcers, they also need to kind of show up, and so does the Wind. So, let's see how good you guys do. And first, I'm going to give it to New Orleans. What a shootout. Again, what that was with them. And they won. They just clutched up 81 for 100 for Seth Skies. Great completion percentage. Yeah, Sky is just great. Great vet in the back. No, it feels like pressure is nothing to him. 906 yards, 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He doesn't get nervous. And then Nicholas even had a completion. Didn't do anything with it, though. He had an attempt, not a completion. Castles, 53 for 265 and 4 touchdowns. Wow, I did not even know that. Hit 7 broken tackles. Castles, been okay. He's not been the best. Leonard Roy, 54 yards, touchdown, 3 broken tackles. Okay. Not as good as people thought he would be this season. Gonzalez, he's went out last week. That didn't hurt him too bad. Fernandez made 1 catch as his replacement for 10 yards. Graves and Landon Dante. Jeez, they're just fighting for their number 1 receiver. 23 catches for Graves, 218 yards. Dante, 19 catches, 279 yards. They're just both really good. 2 touchdowns for Landon Dante. Jesse Flowers, 16 catches, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. He hasn't had the best... Well, he's had a pretty good second year, but not as good as he was last year. Warren Bishop, he's been a really good backup. 10 catches, 90 yards, 3 touchdowns. And one of those touchdowns was last week's one he caught. Sacks given. Roosevelt Hayes hasn't looked the best. He's given up 3. Scott Canty's been okay, 2. Bear Mathias only 1. Besides that, Quinn Spooner and Shaven Tadian. Shaven Tadian's been a really great tackle for them so far. He hasn't given up a single sack, and I thought he'd be the weak point of this offensive line, but no. And the defense, they have looked solid in all. This team, good. But the defense did not look too good against Detroit, as they were getting eaten up a little bit. But let's look now at MVP race. We already pretty much talked about all these guys, so I'm just going to name them. 10th is Frank Jogg from the Cleveland Pirates. 9th is Trent Hudson from the Atlanta Predators. Also, you're going to see more quarterbacks because they made it more realistic now, because I didn't think quarterbacks were getting too much love. 8th is Kyle Shooter from the Kansas City Wind. 7th is Eugene Green from the New York Businessmen. 6th, Terry Foster from the LA Earthquake. 5th, Ross Williams from the LA Earthquake. My bad. 4th, Taylor Little from the Detroit Power. 3rd, Seth Skies from the New Orleans Musicians. 2nd, Willie Rogers from the Kansas City Wind. And 1st is Kermit from the Seattle Natives. Playoff picture. Let's look at relocation status. Cleveland Pirates 0-3. In the hunt, numbers 2, Houston Enforcers 1-2. Number 1, Phoenix Gale Monsters 2-1. 6th seed belongs to LA Earthquake with 2-1 record. 5th seed Kansas City Wind with 3-0 record. 4th seed Charlotte Bats with a 1-2 record. 3rd seed Detroit Power with a 1-2 record. 2nd seed Seattle Natives with a 2-1 record, and 1st seed New Orleans Musicians with a 3-0 record. So now let's look at offense and defense stats. All right, let's look at offense first. Offense, the worst offense in the league, New York Businessmen. 11th, Phoenix Gale Monsters. 10th, Charlotte Bats. 9th, Minneapolis Fishers. 8th, Predators. 7th, Enforcers. 6th, Power. 5th, Pirates. 4th, Natives. 3rd, Earthquake. 2nd, Musicians. 1st, Wind. Rush offense, 12th, Predators. 11th, Bats. 10th, Fishers. 9th, Enforcers. 8th, Businessmen. 7th, Musicians. 6th, Pirates. 5th, Earthquake. 4th, Wind. 3rd, Natives. 2nd, Gila Monsters. And 1st, the Power. Passing yards. Gila Monsters are dead last, 12th. 11th, Businessmen. 10th, Bats. 9th, Fishers. 8th, Enforcers. 7th, Power. 6th, Predators. 5th, Natives. 4th, Pirates. That's not right, is it? Oh, I guess it is. Surprising. 3rd, Earthquake. 2nd, Musicians. 1st, Wind. So that's offense. Let's look at defense. Worst defense in the league, 12th, Pirates. 11th, Wind. 10th, Predators. 9th, Power. 8th, Gila Monsters. 7th, Businessmen. 6th, Fishers. 5th, Bats. 4th, Earthquake. 3rd, Musicians. 2nd, Enforcers. And the 1st, Natives. So yeah, Natives go into first defense. That's why I was really impressed too. Defensive rush, I would have never thought that the defense number 1 would be Natives. Let's look at defensive rush. 12th, Pirates. 11th, Gila Monsters. 10th, Fishers. 9th, Predators. 8th, Bats. 7th, Earthquake. 6th, Power. 5th, Wind. 4th, Musicians. 3rd, Businessmen. 2nd, Enforcers. And 1st, Natives. Now we go to defensive pass. The worst against the pass is the Wind, ranking 12th. Then 11th, the Predators. 10th, the Power. 9th, the Pirates. 8th, the Businessmen. 7th, the Gila Monsters. 6th, the Fishers. 5th, the Bats. 4th, the Natives. 3rd, the Enforcers. 2nd, the Earthquake. And 1st, the Musicians. Best secondary league with the Musicians. Then let's look at the tops. Quarterback tops. Completions, Seth Skies, 81. Attempts, Kendall Hastings, 105. Yards, Kyle Shooter, 950. Touchdowns, Terry Foster with 8. Interceptions, Kendall Hastings with 6. So most of those are rookies besides Seth Skies with the completions. Halfback tops. Colton Yu with 69. He has the most attempts in the league. Nice. With the number I'm talking about. Yards. Willie Rogers, 455. Touchdowns. Willie Rogers, 6. Broken tackles. Taylor Little with 22. Most of those coming off last week's 11 broken tackle game. Wide receiver / tight end tops. Also, Taylor Little holds the league's most broken tackles record with 50. So I think that's going to be easily broken if it is Taylor Little or someone else, because he's almost halfway there in not even middle of the season. Wide receiver, tight end tops. Receptions, Carl Graves with 23. Yards, Kurt Hammond, 300. He still holds on, only having a 26-yard game last week. And touchdowns, Kurt Hammond with 3. Defensive tops, Wesley Francis with solo tackles for 25. Assists, Gary Riley with 15. Tackles for loss, Marcus Bender with 7. Sacks, Roland Lemus with 8. And turnovers, Byron Baxter with 4. Now, to finish off this Week 4 podcast, we got to end it out with the schedule. Week 4, your Thursday night primetime game. This is a good one, let me tell you. The Seattle Natives 2-1, hoping to keep their streak going on in Detroit, as they are going to try, after a really close game on last Sunday, trying to win at home on a Thursday night. They hosted last Monday night on Week 1, and they lost at home against LA. Let's see if they can win against another West team in Seattle. Give me the Natives on that one. I don't know if Sean Richardson can do too well against this number 1 ranked defense, and Kerpo might toast this 10th ranked secondary. Or 10th ranked pass defense, I should just say. But I mostly think pass defense and secondary, so. Fishers at Pirates for week 4, 1 o'clock. I heard it's going to be rainy on that game, though. But I'm going to go with the Fishers winning this divisional matchup. Dackerson might have a bounce back, and I think that secondary is really going to do flowing with Randall Hilton now in there. Kendall Hastings is going to be confused. They're going to give him weird looks, blitzing, and that's going to be a Fishers game all the way. Then the Gila Monsters at the Businessmen. Tets, I think this is where it really comes electric. Toasting this Businessman defense might be okay. We'll see. But this Businessman, they can go on and off sometimes. But I'm going to go for Gila Monsters win in a close one, maybe. Enforcers at Wind. I think the Wind do get exposed here, facing a good defense in Enforcers. And Warren Jones might have a good game. So, give me the Enforcers here. Then the Predators at the Bats for 4-15. Give me... I'm a Predators fan because I'm on the Predators. The Bats did play well. What's our rush defense? I should know this because I'm part of it. But, we have the 9th rush defense. What's our pass defense? Ooh, 11th. But I don't have really concerns with us getting toasted on the pass defense. Because Phillips. Just because I think this Bats defense has what it takes to fight Hudson. Give me a close one, but it's going to be the Predators in this divisional matchup. It's going to be super close, but I'm thinking the Predators can inch this one away from the Charlotte Bats. Coming off their win, I think they have momentum. Both teams having momentum, but I think the Predators take this one to Charlotte and win. Then Musicians at Earthquake for Monday night. Wow, this is going to be a good one. Skies, Foster, Veteran, Newbie. I think we're going to see a little bit of Foster's college side, and I think we're going to see like 1 or 2 turnovers, and I think that's going to be enough mistakes for the Musicians to come out and win. The Musicians are going to win Monday night. That's my take, and that's been the JSFL podcast, and I'll see you guys Thursday night for the Seattle Natives 2-1, heading to the 1-2 Detroit Power. I've been Josh Wexel, your commissioner, commentator, and player for the Atlanta Predators, and I'll see you guys on Thursday night.